Alright, in this video I want to give Pantheon a try, which is a completely new from scratch written Ethereum node. And I'm going to do a couple of things in this video. First, I want to install Pantheon, basically follow this installation guide, which is on the Pantheon wiki. And I'm here on Windows, so I'm going to run the installation for Windows. It should be fairly the same for every operating system. Then I'm going to start Pantheon, and there is a starting Pantheon guide, and I don't want to connect to a public chain. I really just want to run a node for testing. So I'm going to start Pantheon, I'm going to have the miner enabled, and I'm going to mine into an account from my MetaMask. So I'm going to connect MetaMask to Pantheon, and then I get some Ether, and then I'm going to deploy a smart contract, and I'm going to see if everything works out in the log window of Pantheon. So let's get started here. First of all, I'm going to git clone this. Let me start here a PowerShell on Windows. So in case you want to know how I started this, I hold the Shift key while I right click, and then I just basically clone this here inside this directory. So you can already see that there's a Pantheon subdirectory here, and it will take a while. So I'm going to pause the video until this is done. All right, this cloning of the repository is done. So the next step, according to the installation guide, would be to go into this Pantheon directory and then start Gradle. So what I've done in the background already, I have my Java installed, and this Gradle script will download Gradle and install all the components. So let's just go inside the Pantheon directory and start Gradle, and then it says to build and then omit the tests. So that again will take a very long time for me. I've already tried this yesterday, so I'm going to pause again this video recording, and once this is done, I'm gonna continue the video and I walk you through the next steps. All right, the build was successful. Didn't take so long as I expected. The first time I run this, it took quite long. Not sure why it's faster now. Anyway, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to actually start Pantheon, and I haven't found a better way than just going into the Pantheon directory. After the build, you have this build directory, and inside the distributions, and there's like a snapshot, and I'm going to unzip this Pantheon. That's my Windows unzip tool, and it takes a little bit. And then what you got is this Pantheon snapshot with the binary and also the library where you have all the jars that were built. So let's go back to the documentation. I'm going here, and how to actually start Pantheon. You have this binary Pantheon, and in my case it's going to be the Pantheon batch file. And just going to copy this. So what we're going to do is we start the dev mode, which is going to start proof of work blockchain. It's going to initialize a new proof of work blockchain with a very low difficulty, so you can actually mine on your computer. No boot nodes. The miner is enabled. The miner Coinbase is going to be set to this address, which we're going to change later. RPC course origins is all, so we can connect from any side to our blockchain node. Web sockets, we don't actually need them, but RPC enabled, we need them definitely. So anyway, let's just copy this and let's just give it a try. If this works, cd build distributions, Pantheon snapshot, and then we are here. And then I'm going just to go to bin Pantheon, and then I'm trying to see what happens. And if everything works out, then it should start. It's creating a new key pair. It's starting the actual Ethereum network, and it's starting the miner, and it's going to mine a little bit. So I'm going to stop that again, because obviously I have a different account where I want to mine to, so my Coinbase is going to be different. And here's what I'm going to do next. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use my remix over here with a little script that I've prepared, and I'm going to use MetaMask, and I'm going to deploy this script via MetaMask onto my Pantheon private test network. So how am I going to do this? First of all, I need some Ether, and I need to connect my my MetaMask to my Pantheon network. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to copy this account. So I have my new Coinbase. So my Pantheon is going to mine into this account. And I'm going to start it. And now as it started, it will tell me that it's going to listen on localhost 8545. And if I'm going to set my MetaMask to localhost 8545, then it should actually connect, and some ethers should be rolling in. So I see already ethers are rolling in from my private network. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I simply going to use injected web 3. So my remix is going to use MetaMask, and I hit the deploy button to deploy this smart contract on my Pantheon blockchain. Right, I confirm this, and here's what we're gonna see. We see that we have one transaction here, which was the transaction that was sent from our remix via MetaMask. And that's all done. So we have our smart contract on our private blockchain now. And what I've tried yesterday is to actually add some information to my smart contract, and then stop Pantheon, and then restart Pantheon, and then see if the information is still there, just to see if it can really work with persistent information, and if the blocks are generated properly, and everything works fine. So I'm just going to set this number here to 500. Going to confirm that. Wait until the transaction is mined. And it seems like something is wrong, because maybe you can hear my computer fan, maybe not. My load of my computer is definitely going down. So I have the feeling that the miner maybe stopped. So I'm just trying to stop Pantheon. Oh, here we go. So there was like a blocking thread, but that's okay. So the transaction went through. We know that Pantheon is in beta as far as I know. So we are back. If I'm gonna read out my number now, it's 500, and now I'm gonna stop Pantheon. Pantheon has stopped, so I cannot do anything anymore. And I'm gonna restart it and just see if it still can connect to its own private blockchain, to its own database. And let's just check if the information is still there. And the information is still there. So I can just keep interacting with my smart contract. As the transaction is gone through, and that's it. So what I really like about Pantheon is what I haven't showed you yet. It's actually the source code. And so let me go back here, and let me actually go back here and let me open this up in Visual Studio Code. Just want to give you I'm not gonna give you a full walkthrough. I'm gonna give you a quick walkthrough of why I actually like it. So for example, just a quick example, right? If I go to the Pantheon directory, and I haven't really configured my Visual Studio Code for Java yet, so it might be a little bit off. But if I go, for example, to Pantheon, where it starts, you can already see that it's kind of very easy readable. So we have like this Pantheon command, and then we give it a new block importer, runner builder, Pantheon controller builder, and a builder. And if we look into the CLI Pantheon command, I think it was here, then we have all the commands that it can do. All the parsing happens here. So if you want to dive into a source code, for me, it's much easier to read Java than Go or maybe C++, because I can read Java or I did some Java programming for a big portion of my development time. So I think for a lot of people out there, especially coming from enterprise environments, Pantheon will have a very, very great impact. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out the description below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next videos.